just sitting here listening, right? I was just sitting here listening. I just woke up and was listening. Did Elon Musk just say that Trump was in Epstein's files? That's why we never got the full disclosure of the Epstein files and everything was like redacted. Is because Trump's name is in those files, and he was a party to all of those things that Epstein was doing. Is that why we can't see what's going on with the files? The real truth about going on with files? Are you guys kidding me? But then again, we knew this president was a degenerate. We knew it. We knew it. That's why we were trying to make sure the people didn't vote for a degenerate. But Elon Musk, we as Democrats have been saying that Trump was in the Epstein files. Now we have confirmation from his right-hand man, his buddy Elon Musk, just said on Twitter, on X, that Trump is in the Epstein files. And everybody knows what the Epstein files are about. The Epstein files are about degenerate men going to islands, having parties and things like that with young girls under the age of 18. Epstein was, put in jail and somehow come up mysteriously deleted. Was a friend. He was a friend of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, him and were good buddies. They were in pictures together. Now, just a moment ago, just a little while ago, Elon Musk on X, on Twitter, said that Trump was in the Epstein files. That's why they didn't release him completely. That's why they had redacted information in them, because they probably were redacting Trump's name in the Epstein files. Now, we as Democrats were saying it all along. We said it all along. Nobody believed it. They just thought it was just Trump derangement syndrome. They just thought we were speaking for no reason, speaking against this president for no reason. We knew he was a degenerate. We knew as Democrats that he was a degenerate. And we knew he was in the Epstein file. We just couldn't prove it. We didn't have any proof. But they released the files. It was redacted. His name was redacted. That's why it was redacted. And it had black lines all through the paperwork, all through the files, because the name in there was Trump. Elon, your right-hand man, is the one who spilled the beans and said the reason why the files were redacted, the reason why the Epstein files were closed off for us knowing whose the names were in it, was because Trump's name are in it. And anybody who knows the Epstein, the story of Epstein, Epstein was convicted of being, I think it was a pedophile, convicted of dealing with young women, young girls, and Trump went to that island with him. Trump partied with him. So Trump was a part of that whole degenerate lifestyle. And that's why we couldn't get the Epstein files. Because you guys who voted for Trump, who supported Trump was supporting a pedophile, was supporting a degenerate. But we knew it. I knew it. So your right-hand man just spilled the beans and said, you're in those files. Why would your name be redacted out of those files unless you were doing the things that Elon said, that the law said Epstein was doing? There's no way that you should have been redacted out of those files if you were doing a good thing. And we know your boy said you were in the Epstein files, which basically means you're a part of that degenerate crowd. And so, therefore, you were a part of that crowd that were dealing with girls under the age of 18. And so now it's official. It's an official thing. We got a degenerate, and all of you people voted for a degenerate. But this is even worse, because we knew he was a degenerate on a regular level. Now we know he touched kids. Kids. Because Epstein was convicted of touching kids, and Trump was right there next to him. I didn't think we could get more low in the world When we voted for Trump, people voted him in. I didn't think we could get lower than that. Today we just got lower. Today we just got lower. Now we know our president is a hella degenerate. Now we know. Simply because Elon is dropping the bomb on him. On X, Elon dropped the bomb and said Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why we couldn't get the completed version, because they had to take his name out of those files because he's mentioned in there. And if you know anything about Epstein, Epstein liked to touch young girls, have X with young girls, take these young girls to the island. Him and Donald Trump. This is what Elon just said. He just said it. I want to say 30 minutes ago. He dropped it on X, on the X platform, on the Twitter platform. He dropped it in a tweet. Tweet said the reason why you guys can't see the Epstein files, the complete Epstein files, is because Trump's name is in it, and he had his name redacted out of those files. Ouch! We knew y'all voted for a degenerate. We knew y'all voted for one of the lowest forms of humans on this planet. We knew you did. And yet y'all did it, and you ignored it. You ignored exactly what we were telling you. This person, see the problem, there was a rumor. Elon just said he's in those files. Elon just said on X that Trump is in those files. That's why it was heavily redacted. And people kept saying, you Democrats just keep saying that. It ain't no truth. No, now your boy Elon is saying it on X. That Trump, and if anybody knows Epstein, he was a pedophile. He got convicted of touching young girls, dealing with young girls, taking young girls to the island, and Trump was on Epstein's plane many times, or Epstein was on Trump's plane, or Trump was on Epstein's plane going to the island, and that's all Epstein liked was young girls. So if Trump went to the island with him, they were messing with young girls. Ouch. But we knew he was a degenerate. We knew. And people gonna try to walk out of this. Yes, redacted. That's why the redacted file, that's Trump's name is behind those black lines in that file. That's why we couldn't get the file before now. Now we got the file. It is what it is. Too late now. Let's hope everybody got their wake-up call. On top of the fact that he just banned 12 countries from coming here. The people from coming here. He just banned 12 countries. Shut them down. If they can't come here Monday morning midnight is the last time somebody from these 12 countries can come here, because he shut the border down for those people. If you come from Yemen, Chad, Sierra Leone, I think, it was Burma, Afghanistan, it's about 12 countries. So on top of that, you can't come here. So if you out of the country and you in these countries, you visiting these countries, you better get your ass back here by Sunday night. Otherwise, you ain't gonna be able to come back in the country. He was never somebody I would have voted for anyway. I'd have voted for a paper bag before I voted for Donald Trump. But y'all voted in y'all voted him in. You voted in the pedo. You voted in the pedo. Because if Epstein is considered a pedo, Donald Trump was right along with him dealing with those young girls. And that's why the files are redacted. Because his name is in those files as one of the co-conspirators, one of the perpetrators of dealing with young girls. And Epstein's young girls were very young, 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, however young they were. They were young girls. And Trump went to the island and he partied with Epstein. But anyway, I'm in the car. I'm doing my thing. I'm going to be honest with you. It was what it was. These things happen. I get it. Hey, look, you wanted to vote for him because you thought, I don't know what you thought. I said to myself, I could never vote a man in who would put his hands on a woman. That was just me. And that eliminated him completely. Now I know. No, we ain't talking about Elon. Elon worked for the presidency. Working for the presidency is not working for Donald Trump. He worked for the presidency. That's a different. He worked on the campaign. Nobody said anything about Elon being on Epstein Island. Of course, Epstein was probably a racist. He probably never allowed him on the island. So nobody said anything. There's never been a whiff of Elon being on the island. Donald Trump was on the island. Okay? Donald Trump was on that island. But anyway, we're going to talk about it later on because I got another show later on. But I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button. I'll be on at 6 o'clock. For the reaction. But of course, we're going to probably talk about this. Who knows? But thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button. And then go on X. And read what Elon said about him being Donald Trump being on that island with Donald Trump being redacted from the files because he didn't want people to know that he was on there doing that pedo stuff. This is wild. This is crazy. No, this is a Republican who said he was on it. A Republican who everybody allowed to get into the files. Y'all allowed this man to get into our files, to get into our money. So this man knew the behind the scenes stuff. This man is saying on Twitter that Donald Trump was in those files. So I'll talk to y'all later. That's a bombshell. If that ain't a bombshell, I don't know what was. That's a bombshell. Wow.